A little while ago, I made a video talking about how I thought Gear 5th was a thought bubble. While I still think there's some truth to that, I also think that Gear 5th could be an homage to Parabolin or just Island Clouds in general. The reason why I say this is because it's very curious that in all the arcs so far in the narrative where Gear 5th is being used, there are very obvious clouds present in the story of these arcs, and these clouds always play a very important role. So, in Onigashima, where Luffy first awakens Gear 5th, we have Momonosuke and Kaido both having the powers of the Fish True Model Azure Dragon. In having these powers, they are able to generate these clouds called flame clouds. These flame clouds are able to hoist large masses of matter into the air. This includes themselves, which allows them to fly when they grab onto said clouds, or I believe in Kaido's case, when they're just generated around him, he can just stay aloft because of them. So with that being said, that's something very interesting to point out, that we have magical clouds present in Onigashima when Luffy awakens Gear 5th. Then in Egghead, thanks to the inventions of Vegapunk, the big sort of wine bottle thing in the middle of Egghead is able to generate island clouds, which is what the upper portion of Egghead sits on, and that is what the combined satellites use to help Punk Records escape Egghead after it's pretty much destroyed, right? So in that way, clouds play a very important part in Egghead. On top of that, the combined Vegapunks use the island clouds to escape to where? Witheria, where Harides is, Nami's teacher, who is currently on a big island cloud. And he himself is a sky person because we find out a while ago that he is a Birkin. So in that way, it's very interesting that the clouds are being used to escape to another cloud. So I find that funny. Also, too, now Nami is in the possession of a living cloud named Zeus. That doesn't really matter here, but Witheria is connected to Nami, so I thought I'd bring that up. Anyway, and of course, Luffy uses Gear 5th in Egghead to fight Lucy and a bevy of other people. Then, in Elbaf, we have natural island clouds that are just present. And of course, Luffy has already used Gear 5th in this arc, and this arc also tells us some very interesting lore about Nika in general, which of course is what Gear 5th allows Luffy to actually become. So, the kicker about this is that when you think about a word bubble, some word bubbles that are thought bubbles take the form of clouds. They're very curvy in their outline, which makes them look like a cartoon version of what you would think when you think of a cloud. So in that way, I think all of these things sort of meld together. Luffy is a thought bubble, but he's also Parabolin or Island Cloud, because as we see too in the culture of Skypiea, and from what we see from Eniru's army, that people can use clouds for combat and shape them in any way that they wish. So in that way, it makes a lot of sense that Luffy can pull things from his head of cloud hair and make objects, real objects. This would also make sense for the paint bucket and brush and whatever else we see in the future. Perhaps this is where the various weapons that Nika is depicted using come from. So the spear and the sword in his, I guess, Skypian depictions, and then the sword and the shield in his Elbathian depictions. But with that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede. What?